Welcome viewers to a grand final edition of the AFL North Coast Footy Show. G'day PT.
G'day Crawls. Big week this week. We're going double show.
Absolutely. Too much content for one show this week, so we decided to do two. Predominantly this one looking back at the junior grand final day on Sunday. It was a fantastic day of footy. We know how to bring the rain, mate. It hasn't rained for about 2 months. Hold a grand final and down she comes on the Friday night and then again on the Sunday morning. But the stadium held up well and it was a great day.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, stadium was in great nick considering the rain we'd had, 55 mils or something on the Friday night. Yep. And like you say, I mean, a little bit of a dampener. Might have been a few more people out and about had it not been for the rain, but still, big crowd. It's great to see them all jammed in there. Certainly gave it the look of a big crowd. And despite the wet weather, great footy played by all 8 teams on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. The games were riveting, really, and started off with the under-11s. Probably worst of the conditions. Most rain during the game. So unfortunately for those players and the umpires, it was a bit tricky. But it was a great game. Nambucca Valley managed to get over the line, holding their unbeaten record for the year, which is a fantastic effort.
Absolutely, second year in the competition. Started off a couple of years ago, late in the year with an Auskick Centre. Last year they rolled that into an under-11s team. That did moderately well results-wise, but certainly has done very well in terms of attracting more and more kids to come and play the game, which meant that this year 11s and 13s, and then as we say, year 2 of their existence as a footy club, undefeated under-11 season, premiers. Probably can't ask for too much more than that, really.
Really impressive, and it was when they were reading out the names of the kids in that Nambucca team. It was like the old days when Nambucca seniors were in there. You had Angel, Barty, McGrath, just talent everywhere, mate. So it just goes to show you come into the competition, get your back of office right, find the right coach, draw some talent. Anything's possible.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. So, and speaking of coach, big shout out to Trent Barty, did a fantastic job this year. Obviously gone through the season undefeated. Could have gone out and beaten most teams pretty comfortably. Mercy ruled most weeks, maybe even a mercy rule 60-0. But Trent went out of his way to make sure that didn't happen. And if you look back through the record books, there'll be very few mercy rules that they've applied on other teams, which is great for those other teams to continue to grow and develop.
Absolutely. So, a number of times I saw him give their best 3 players to the opposition at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Let the opposition get a 20 or 30 point lead and then try and chase it down. So it's a real good philosophy from Trent. So well done.
And of course, shouldn't just focus on the winners. Big shout out too to Northern Beaches Blues, who really gave a good showing of themselves, not only on grand final day, but obviously all through the season to get to that point. And I guess another success story. When I started here in 2015, Crawls, they didn't have a team in the competition. Still had a little Auskick Centre, but no team. So in 3 years' time, they've built back up. They've got 11s, they've got 13s. Second year in a row, they've played an under-11s grand final. Just haven't quite been able to get across the line for the big one, but as somebody said on the big day, don't just focus on that last result of the season, focus on what you've achieved right across, because Northern Beach is very, very successful season. Yeah,
absolutely. So to Chris and Dennis and Carl and Craig and Carla and all the rest of the crew, great job, doing a fantastic work there, and hopefully we can keep developing, finding more players for you guys, and expansion, certainly on the horizon, if not next year, certainly the year after in terms of more age groups.
Absolutely, yeah. And then before we move off of the under-11s, should mention best on ground, obviously awarded to a player in both teams. From Nambucca for the premiers, is Toby Batten, who had an outstanding game, so well played to him.
Good year, actually.
Absolutely, yeah.
All the games I saw him play.
Yeah, and then bringing both of those things together, best on ground for Northern Beaches Blues, and a kid who obviously had a good year was Ray Christie, because not only was he best on ground, he also got the Best and Fairest award for the season. So well done to him.
Yep.
Runner-up, Best and Fairest for the season was split. We couldn't split young Isaac Luke, who played for Manning Valley Mustangs, but he's a Camden Haven Bomber originally, and Tyler Jess from Port Macquarie. And the interesting thing about those two young fellas is that they were both actually under 10s playing in the under-11s competition, which meant that not only did they get the Best and Fairest runner-up, they also shared the Rising Star Award. So that's a fantastic achievement by those blokes.
And the bookies have rolled them in for the under-11 Best and Fairest next year.
Righto.
Very short for next year, the 2 of them.
We'll see how that pans out.
So moving to under-13s.
13s.
the Breakers playing Macleay Valley. The Breakers had sort of, they probably surprised themselves, to be honest, to make it through to the grand final.
Yeah.
You know, they had to travel to Port and to Grafton in the 2 previous weeks, and did really well. Macleay.
Well, and I think too, mate, a team of a lot of young fellas who moved up this year from under 11.
That's correct,
so I guess, you know, sort of a core of a first year under 13s team.
Yep.
Yeah, and probably weren't expecting much this year on that basis, but got better and better, stronger and stronger the longer the season went, and got into 3rd place, like you say, 2 away wins. You know, something that obviously Richmond don't have to worry about come finals time.
We might be playing away, just at the G.
Well, now the change rooms. Right. And then yes, Macleay Valley, mate, as you were saying, last year's premiers, and they obviously did it last year with a pretty young side, because most of those fellas were back, and fellas and ladies.
Don't forget the girls.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of the girls weren't there last year. A lot of the girls were playing under 11. They've moved up, and certainly a couple of those are superstars and add a lot to that team. So take it from there, mate. What happened?
It was a good game. I umpired it. It was a really good game. Fairly physical, but good skills considering that it was still very breezy. Didn't get any rain during the game, but it was tight. Only a couple of points in it at half time, and the same again at 3/4 time. Macleay had kicked poorly. Big Lamar didn't have a great day at the office in terms of kicking. He was good around the ground, good taking grabs, but didn't kick very straight for goals, unfortunately.
Never know with Lamar. There's always a chance he was wearing somebody else's boots and hadn't quite accustomed himself to them just yet.
Correct. So that sort of really kept Breakers in it. I think if they kicked straight, not just Lamar but the team at Macleay, that it would have been pretty much over by 3/4 time. But certainly kept it very close to 3/4 time. But then Macleay just as the ball got a bit drier and the game got a bit more fluent, the silky skills of the Macleay Valley Eagles kids just took over, and then they did kick a couple of goals in a row.
Well, there was certainly one goal, I think it was the 3rd quarter, mate, where Breakers kicked out from their defensive end, and I think it was young Robbie Inglis took a mark. Quentin Close then streamed past him, got a short kick from Robbie, and then Quentin exchanged a couple of short hand passes with about 2 other players, and then streamed in, kicked from about 35 and just absolutely slogged it. And I know certainly being up at the top of the grandstand at that point, there were just people from all clubs who were sitting there going, wow, have a look at that.
Wow,
I don't think Brian was there that day.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's very, very impressive. So they went on to win by a few goals, 14 points maybe in the end.
Somewhere up around it.
Yeah, so it was a really good game though. Played in good spirit. So congratulations to Macleay Valley Eagles winning the under-13s premiership for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And then best on ground in the under-13s, Macleay Valley's was Credence Donovan.
Yep.
And for Breakers, it was young Dylan Bonham.
Yep.
Which is a big day for Dylan, because not only did he get best on ground, he got runner-up in worst haircut, pipped only by his brother Riley. So
Dusty.
Oh, shocking.
But they don't go for the Tigers. Adelaide, Tex Walker.
Tex Walker, yeah, one of them.
No, there was no mullet. It was, but pretty average haircuts.
Oh, very ordinary.
But good on them for doing something special for grand final day.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not the first person around this place who's gone a dusty after grand final day, so... and then, mate, end of season's awards, under 13s was a real turn up for the books. I'm not sure we've ever had this before, but young Cedar Barry from Camden Haven Bombers has taken out the best and fairest as an under 12 playing the under 13 competition. So he's doubled up. He's gone the best and fairest, and he's gone the rising star.
Yeah, that's super impressive, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I got a sneaky feeling it might have been done before by a kid named Jake Brown.
And what did he ever go on to?
Yeah, he's on a list at the moment, so he's going all right. So hopefully Cedar Barry can follow in those footsteps. So stick at it, Cedar. Obviously got a lot of talent, and it'd be great to see you keep going with your footy and progress to great things.
Absolutely, yeah. And then runner-up in the under-13 best and fairest was young Neddy O'Neill from Grafton, who had an outstanding season himself.
Certainly did. Even played well in the under-15s grand final, which we'll get to in a minute.
He did, yeah. Disappointed, obviously, not to be there for the 13s, but had a crack in the 15s, which is great.
Yeah, so great day for the under-13s game. Did that wrap that one up, mate?
I think so, yeah. So that brought us to the youth girls.
Yep.
And I mean, we've almost touched on it before, but how about a bit of boy, oh boy, wowee.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
What a game.
Grafton led. I'm not sure the whole game, but certainly most of the game.
No, there's a few lead changes throughout.
Yeah.
But I think they were up by a goal coming into the last term.
Yep.
Breakers had probably most of the play down in their forward 50. Outstanding scrambling defence from both teams right throughout, just repelling attack after attack. Breakers managed to kick a behind, but that was all they could get. So Grafton leading with 5-point lead with about 40-something seconds to play, and the Breakers have bombed one back in there, and there's Takaya Pitsy.
Good grab.
Oh,
Took a few good marks through the game. It was a really good overhead mark.
A little bit of erratic kicking for goal, so nobody was quite sure what the outcome was going to be.
She'd kicked the goal, but I think she kicked one on the full, or maybe didn't even get it to on the full when she should have made the distance.
Exactly.
So I'm sure everyone's heart was in their mouths, and the crowd was on edge of the seat, and she just went back and slotted it.
Oh, never in doubt.
Unbelievable.
And even if you didn't have a good angle on it, all you had to do was listen to the Breakers girls shrieking to know it was there.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And I don't even remember, mate. Did we have enough time on the clock to restart? I think we might have done just brought it up, and that was about it. One tackle, game over.
Yeah, it was. So an amazing win by the Breakers. Commiserations to Grafton. They've made the big dance 2 years in a row in the girls.
Yeah.
And haven't quite got the job done. It was. I think Murray Wynn said it well when he's didn't really deserve to be a loser on the day because both teams played fantastically well. So unfortunately, the Grafton Tigers didn't get the job done, and a few of their girls are now too old to play next year. But a lot of the Breakers girls are too old to play next year. So the fact that Grafton have got really solid numbers in that slightly younger age group now, they'll go in favourites, I think, for next year for the youth girls, and hopefully they can have another really good season, and maybe next year will be their year.
But I mean, talking success stories as we did at sort of under 11s, off-field success stories if you like. You remember back to last year, and the Tigers played in a grand final with 9 players.
Yep.
And 3 of those were girls from Inverell who were travelling over virtually weekly. There's been a fantastic recruitment approach up there, and I think young Chelsea Ryan has been one of the key drivers of that. And this, I think, what they have, they had about 20 players there on the weekend.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome.
how good is that? They've gone from 9 to 20 in the space of a year, and like you say, they're set up for continued success. So, best on ground in that game, Casey Wynn for the Breakers.
Yep.
And a young girl by the name of Lily Doyle, who's shown a little bit of promise. She might go somewhere possibly in our game.
I think she's mentioned here a couple of
Grafton
times.
Tigers, obviously, so Lil. And then when it came to end of season awards, and Nikki Wallace medal, first ever player from our region to play AFL, men's or women's. And it was an exact repeat of last year. So Cass Ronalds got the chocolates with Lily Doyle breathing down her neck in second place. And then our rising star this year, young Sahara Alpha from Port Macquarie, who's had an outstanding year. I think first year in footy, and gone from strength to strength.
Absolutely. So it was great to see Cassidy play all the youth girls games, even though she's playing women's footy as well. It was a big effort backing up both days.
Absolutely.
So, but well done to both those teams. So under 15s.
15s.
Sawtell Saints went in raging favourites.
Yes.
Grafton. Look, they battled really hard all day.
And right through to the end, which is a credit to
that was
them.
their best quarter, the last quarter in terms of scoring. So it was great that they did stick it out. But Sawtell just had class all over the field. The use of the football was really, really impressive. They've got Yoda as their coach.
Oh, talk about class on the field. Listen to him. There's class on running the bench, mate. So it's great. Well done to them. Well deserved. But like you say, wasn't necessarily close on the scoreboard, but real credit to the Tigers in terms of how well they played. Best on ground for Sawtell was Angus Anderson.
Leather poisoning.
And then for Grafton, it was young Mikey Luxton, who is in his first year under 15, so he's done really well there.
Off the half-back flank, he was super impressive.
Absolutely. And then in terms of our best and fairest for the season, young Malachi Troutman. Trouty had a great season. Captained the team, did a great job. He was the best and fairest. Isaac Malt from Bello was our runner-up. And young Hamish Dirty Anderson was the rising star for the 15s.
Yeah, so it was a challenging year, and you said it really well to the teams on the day, mate. It was a challenging year for the under-15 competition, but all the teams, dug in well, made good games of it. and it was a really good season in the end, and hopefully we can capitalise on those, having a lot more teams in the 13s with kids coming through next year to make it a really solid under 15 competition again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that just about wraps grand final day for the juniors.
Yeah.
Tune in later in the week, viewers, and we'll have our preview of the senior grand finals.
Absolutely. So that's exciting times as well. Weather forecast looks like it's going to be dry and warm.
Yeah.
So that might test a few of the bodies out. But yeah, terrific weekend of footy last weekend. All the best to the juniors in their presentation days and things like that. Try and make sure you get a footy in your hands over the pre-season, and we look forward to talking to everyone later in the week about the senior preview.
Yeah, and of course, no AFL this weekend, so if you want your footy fix, down to the stadium for the senior grand finals. Saturday, be there. Tune in later in the week to find out all about it.
Excellent. See you, viewers.